So thank you for joining me on this Facebook Live. So some questions I've been getting about what is the voting process at Hayes CISD for school board meetings. And the reason I'm getting this question and the reason I want to do this video is that a lot of people are watching the videos online. They're watching the school board meetings online because we're live for most of the meetings. We are also on tape, so they're archived, and you may come visit a school board meeting in person, or you may watch it at hayescisd.net/trusteetv. And so you want to learn more about how the process works. So let me tell you a little bit about how the process works so that when you're watching a school board meeting, you know what's going on and that you can be prepared for it. So an item has to be on an agenda in order for you to vote on it. It has to be listed in the section called action items. There's two sections on a school board agenda. There's action items and there's informational items. If it's on an informational item section, there's no vote attached to that. It's going to be more of an informational thing. It may be a presentation, but there's no vote. Now, if it's in the action item section, there will be a vote. So it's going to be placed on the agenda by either the superintendent with the approval of the board president, or it's going to be placed on the agenda by the board president. The item could also be placed on an agenda for a vote by two board members who decide they want something on there. Even if the president doesn't want it, two board members, if they decide that they want something on there, they'll bring it to the president and it'll be put on the agenda. So the items on the agenda. Now, there's a lot of items that will be there for a vote that have to be on there by law. So, for example, and something that would need to be on there for a vote by law is any contract over $50,000. If the contract is over $50,000, the school board must vote on it. An administrator cannot sign that contract without school board approval. Now, just because something is on the agenda doesn't mean that the vote will occur. Just because but it has to be posted and on an agenda for a vote to occur. Now, there's two different kinds of meetings. Well, there's several kinds of meetings, but there's two main types of meetings where you may see a vote. One is called a business meeting, one is called an agenda meeting. Typically, you won't see votes on agenda meetings. They're to go over items that will be on the next board, at the next board meeting for a vote, but there's typically not any votes on at those agenda meetings. Those are usually the first meeting of the month. Now, those items, there may be a voting item on that agenda, and it'll be clearly marked as such, but it's rarer. Now, most of the votes will actually occur at the business meeting. That if something is on an agenda, there has to be a motion made and then a second in order to have a vote. So first there's a motion and then there's a second. If there's not a second to that motion, the motion dies. So once you get a second, then you can talk about the item. The school board president will call for a discussion on the motion. So what you may see is somebody saying, no, don't vote for this, or this is the reason I'm not going to vote for this, or they may be saying, everybody should vote for this, I'm voting for this, and this is why. You may see that. You may see questions asked during the discussion if board members didn't have the opportunity to ask a question beforehand. Usually everybody does have a chance, but if the motion was made before anybody could actually ask a question at that meeting, then people are going to be asking questions because they need to get the answers to their questions before they can feel comfortable voting on that item. Well, the voting is by simple majority to pass something. So we have 7 board members on the board. And so as long as you have 4 people that vote in the affirmative, it's going to pass. So you only need 4 people to pass, the particular item. Now, there are a few items that require a supermajority. So, for example, when we had an agenda item last year to approve the District of Innovation Plan, by law, 5 board members, a supermajority, have to be in approval in order for that to pass. So a regular majority would be 4-3, but you needed at least 5 people for the supermajority for the District of Innovation to pass. So that's an example where you would need a more people than the simple majority. So that in a nutshell is the lowdown on the process for voting at school board meetings. Again, I'm bringing this up here because I've been asked these questions, and I want to get this out to the public so that when you're watching a meeting online at heycisd.net/trusteetv, if you're there in person or you're watching an old archived meeting, you understand how the voting process works. So again, this is Willie Tenorio Jr. I'm a school board trustee for Hayes CISD. Thanks for joining me, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.